Remember back yesterday when I may have said that Lacazette was my new scapegoat? Completely disregard all that. He's scored 4 goals from 3 Premier League starts for us now. He's all right, isn't he? Hello and welcome to part 15 of Gunning for Glory. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're at home against West Ham in the Premier League, and then also at home against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League. Since you were last with me, form has been pretty decent, apart from this one blip, which was a 2-0 defeat against Newcastle, but it did come off the back of a really, really good 2-0 win against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League. We played really, really well in that game, as we did against Bournemouth. And excitingly, we're getting goals from people we haven't previously been getting goals from. So Lacazette, a couple of goals in there. Renato Sanchez now getting a goal. Justin Kluivert, Kelechi Iheanacho, both scoring as part of a rotated team that put Everton out of the EFL Cup. The youngsters are slowly starting to come through the system, and Kev's excited. This is the team that we're going to be playing to. No, it's not. That's the team that we played against Everton. One moment. This is the team that we're going to be playing against West Ham today. And we've got ter Stegen in goal, a back four of Kolasinac, Koscielny, Tah and Mustafi, with Diawara and Sanchez in midfield. They are a very, very good central midfield pairing. Bearing in mind their combined age is like 38 or something ridiculous. They're so very good together. That was £100 million well spent on those two. And then we've got Welbeck, Ozil and Lamar in behind a resurgent Lacazette. In fact, there's goals in that whole front four, and Renato Sanchez is just a revelation. He seems to play better with Diawara alongside him. It's what we talked about towards the back end of last season, when we justified choosing Diawara over Renato Sanchez at the time. I know we then went back and bought Sanchez as well. But at the time, the reason we picked Diawara over Renato Sanchez was because of all the midfielders that we'd potentially have, he was going to be the one who could sit there and just hold his spot in midfield, win tackles, and allow whoever was alongside him to play. And that's exactly what he's doing for us. He's letting Renato Sanchez play. That, on the other hand, was really poor from Tah, who has been really, really good at centre-back. He's pretty much established himself as our first choice centre-back at this point, leapfrogging over Christensen. But that was just pathetic. And, yeah, Christensen's probably watching that thinking, well, I played the second half of last season. I seem to be the one youngster who's lost his place in the team. How is this happening? We're 2-0 down against West Ham. My chair, I'm just going to throw it out the window. What an annoying, noisy chair. But we're 2-0 down after 20 minutes at home against West Ham. We started this game top of the Premier League, and West Ham are rubbish. Where are they? Mid-table rubbish. But somehow we're 2-0 down. Renato Sanchez has picked up a knock, potential thigh injury for him, and I don't know why this happens sometimes. We've been in such good form. This is like Newcastle all over again. It seems we're actually playing better with the rotated version of the team, which we're using in the Champions League and the EFL Cup. And it's making me think, should we just bin off the likes of Ozil and Lacazette permanently? See, I've gone. It's taken me what? How far in are we? It's taken me about 3 minutes to go full circle on Lacazette. I was against him last episode. I started the video saying, actually, I was wrong. He's good. And it's taken me 3 minutes of us playing poor defensively for me to make our striker the scapegoat again. But in reality, the whole team's not played very well today, and we've got work to do to get back into this game. And Welbeck really should have finished that. He's better than that, and that was annoying. We're going to take off Sanchez because we don't want him to be injured. Ramsey can come on for him, and hopefully he has the opportunity to dance around a little bit alongside Diawara. I don't think I've put Ramsey alongside Diawara yet, but everyone else who's played alongside him has played well. Lamar's having a really poor game. There you go. Let's get Reece Nelson on in the Premier League. In fact, let's just get them all on. Let's get Iheanacho on as well. We'll have Nelson on one side, Welbeck on the other, Iheanacho up front, and we just got to throw ourselves at this and find a way to grab 3 goals, really. Even drawing this game would be a disappointment. Although, based on the position we're in now, we would take a 2-2. At this point, yeah, we're 2-0 down with 20 minutes to go. We'll accept a 2-2. But obviously what we really want is that win that we were going for pre-match. Right, Lamar to Ozil. Lacazette with one of his last touches of the game, presumably. Ozil to Welbeck, and that's Danny Welbeck's second very good chance. It should be 2-2 because Welbeck has had 2 clear-cut opportunities and he's missed them both, and somehow he's the man who gets to stay on the pitch. But we now have, this might be Reece Nelson's Premier League debut. So let's see if he's got any magic in him. Iheanacho got well into the 20s on goals for Leicester last year, so he's someone who should be able to grab a couple of goals for us if need be. Mustafi crosses to Iheanacho, and there's one of them with 10 minutes to go. Kelechi Iheanacho, his 3rd goal of the season. Is he the man who should be starting up front for us week in, week out? I've tried Welbeck, and to be fair, he was scoring goals, but I'm now using him on the left wing because I like him there. So that was a weird decision. Lacazette, though, has had another opportunity, and he's too erratic with his form. He can be great, but then he's rubbish for 2 games, and then he's great again for a game, and it's just not enough. Iheanacho does grab a goal, but ultimately we're still losing the game. So let's not proclaim that we've got the answers to any of our problems in this game, because to lose 3-1 at home to West Ham when we're supposed to be challenging for the title is just silly. I don't even know how that can happen. We're not very... I mean, this is... I guess it's the problem we're playing... Look at all these yellow cards as well. It's going to be the problem we're playing with so many kids in the team. We're going to be a little bit inconsistent. And by a little bit inconsistent, I mean really, really, really inconsistent. Let's go and play Leverkusen. And hopefully win. Couple of changes for the Leverkusen game then, but most significant, we've given Lacazette another chance up front, mainly because I don't want to have to re-record the intro to the episode, so I'm hoping he'll get a hat-trick, and then that would justify me being positive about him before we got started today. See? Always thinking. Other than that, Sanchez does have to drop to the bench. He picked up that knock in the last game. He's fit to play, but it seems silly to risk him when I've already said the Champions League is a low priority for us this season. So Ramsey comes into midfield to play alongside Diawara, and Iwobi comes into the midfield 3 at the expense of Danny Welbeck, who also drops down onto the bench. Let's get into the game. Yes, rotation. Yeah, that one. Yes. I mean, it's not really rotation that is the reason we've left out Sanchez. It's the fact that he's got a little bit of a knock. So it makes sense to not risk him. That was a silly question and didn't give me the opportunity to give the answer I wanted to give. Lacazette straight away with a chance. I don't know if that comes back off the keeper or rebounds back off the crossbar or something. It was a vicious shot though, and already looks a little bit more lively. Perhaps this will be that 1 game in 3 where Lacazette has a good game. It'd be nice for you to see one of them, just so you can see just how inconsistent he seems to be for me. Right, Diawara into Ozil. That was a beautiful pass, and Ozil brought it down brilliantly. I want to see this one in 3D because it looked like it was a killer pass, along with a piece of first touch control from Ozil that just took every defender out of the game. I mean, yeah, I was proclaiming the pass, but really that's all about the control from Ozil. He sort of takes his right foot out and puts it in front of their player, drags it back. It was the sort of thing I would have done in that situation, and that is the highest praise I can possibly give to Mesut Ozil. Right, Lamar crosses in. Monreal inexplicably is in there and picks up the ball again, and he crosses to Ozil, and it's Ozil's second of the game. I don't know why Nacho Monreal was where he was there. Reminder, he's our left back, but he was running back from trying to get on the end of the first one, and it falls to him for the cross. And Ozil doesn't have to do anything special on the control this time. It's just laid there for him. He's on the penalty spot practically, and he just tucks it into the corner of the goal. 2-0 up, and we are fairly comfortable in this game so far. Leverkusen are rock bottom of the group. I think this is the 4th game now, so they're pretty much eliminated, and even if they win, they're still pretty much out of the Champions League at this point. So perhaps that last win we had against them wasn't as impressive as I was making out earlier, because they're clearly the whipping boys of the group, which I thought would be Shakhtar, who we beat quite easily earlier on as well. But it's starting to take shape and be us and Inter who make our way out of the group, which is exactly what it should have been, exactly what we were all expecting when we saw who we had in this group. It should be us and Inter moving into the knockout rounds. And unless something horrible goes wrong at this point, I think we've still got to play Inter at home and Shakhtar away. And here we've got a penalty. And Mesut Ozil with the chance to grab his hat-trick, which I don't know if he's had a hat-trick for us before. It'd be very pleasant if he manages to get one. He's had a very good game. And there is his hat-trick. And that's what he can do on his day. He just doesn't do it often enough for us. Whereas I think the big thing we're missing at times is Alexis Sanchez with his ability to change a game the way he can. But Ozil, when he's on form, can be an absolute world beater. And if he played like this all the time, then we wouldn't be missing Alexis Sanchez at all. But Iwobi finds Lacazette. Ozil's in again and hits the post. Ozil going for his 4th goal of the game. I mean, this is ridiculous. He's playing really rather well. I might just... I was tempted to take him off once he got his hat-trick, but he's playing so well, I think we might just leave him on. Right, let's get Asensio on, and Iheanacho can come on as well. And if we were losing, I'd bring on Danny Welbeck, but I don't feel the need to bring him on with the situation as it is. In fact, let's bring Sanchez on as well, just to get some more game time into him. A bit more Champions League experience. It certainly can't hurt his development to come into a game like this where it's pretty much already won and he just gets the opportunity to have a little run around for a bit and shouldn't get himself injured. Right, Ozil to Iheanacho to Iwobi. Let's go and grab another goal for Iheanacho here. I think the Lacazette experiment might be over and we have another penalty and it is Ozil's opportunity to get his 4th goal of the game now. Surely if he scores this, it's got to be worth a 10 out of 10 rating for the match, and we all know how rare they are. And he does convert his 2nd penalty of the game, his 4th goal of the game. It is the Mesut Ozil show today, and surely this is going to be our first 10 out of 10 performance of the entire save so far. What's he on? 9.9. What more does that man have to do? Come on, let's grab another goal. I mean, if he scored 4 goals and controlled the entire game, I think that's plenty. Ozil finds Asensio to Monreal. Cross comes in and it doesn't quite find whoever it was. I think it was probably aimed at Iheanacho, but it was nowhere near him. And that is that. It even says in the commentary, the Mesut Ozil show comes to a close, but he does ultimately only get a 9.9. We're still awaiting our first 10 out of 10 performance of the save so far, but importantly, we're level on points with Inter at the top of the group now, and I think we play Shakhtar next, and a win against them will get us through to the knockout rounds with a game to spare, and it really won't matter at all what we do against Inter then, which is all positive stuff. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thank you very much for watching.